World 247. I am your host, and today's story is intense. Across global headlines, one line stood out: Putin will destroy you. According to multiple reports, that's the blunt warning Donald Trump gave to Ukraine's President Zelensky during their recent visit and a closed door meeting in the US. On camera, the two leaders were polite, but behind the scenes, reports say Trump raised his voice, used harsh words, and pushed a single idea: accept a land for peace deal now, or Russia will keep advancing and Ukraine will pay a bigger price later. Let's break this down in simple words. Zelensky flew to US asking for more air defenses, long-range missiles and money. He believes if Ukraine gets stronger weapons, it can push Russian forces back. Trump's view is very different. He thinks Ukraine cannot win a long war against Russia, and the longer this continues, the worse it gets for everyone, for Europe, for global markets, and for America's foreign policy. That's why, as per those reports, he told Zelensky to accept what Putin wants on territory, especially in the east, or face more destruction. Whether you agree or not, this is Trump's style: make a big demand, set a deadline in his mind, and push for a dramatic deal. He has said many times, I can end the war in a day. What does that one day solution look like? Most likely a ceasefire that freezes the front lines, followed by a political settlement where Ukraine gives up some claims in exchange for security guarantees and reconstruction money. For Zelensky, that's a red line. He believes giving up land rewards aggression and will only invite more aggression later. So we are stuck between two hard truths. War fatigue is real. Europe and US have spent huge amounts on aid and weapons. Voters are asking questions. And second, Ukrainians' resistance is real. People on the ground believe they are fighting for survival, not bargaining chips. Now, why does this matter for countries like India, Australia, and many others? Because this war reshapes the world economy. Energy prices, food prices, fertilizer flows, all of it connects back to Ukraine and Russia. If fighting flares up, oil rises. If ports close, grain prices jump. When prices jump, every family feels it in their kitchen budget. It also affects diplomacy. The US expects partners to line up behind the Russian policy. India, however, buys discounted Russian oil to keep fuel prices stable at home. That decision is about national interest, keeping inflation in check, keeping growth steady, but it has created friction with parts of the US political class. That's where the tariff talk comes in. Some American leaders say if India still buys from Russia, we'll raise import duties. You have heard those headlines. That's the ripple effect of this war. Even far from the battlefield, policies shift. Back to the meeting. Reports say Trump told Zelensky something like this: time is not on your side. Russia is dug in. If you don't settle now, you'll lose more later. Zelensky's response, publicly at least, is clear: give us the tools, we'll finish the job. He wants long range missiles and layered air defense. He believes Ukraine can still change the map if it gets the right support. So, what happens next? Let's keep it simple with three likely paths. Path 1: a political deal. A ceasefire freezes the front line, negotiations start on territory, prisoners and security guarantees. This cools energy prices and calms markets. But it leaves big moral questions. What precedent does it set if a nuclear power changes borders by force? Path 2: a longer, grinding war. Ukraine keeps fighting, Russia keeps pushing, aid flows up and down depending on politics in Washington and Europe. This path is costly. For Ukrainians first, for Europe second, and for global prices everywhere. Path 3: a sudden shock. A dramatic move by either side, a big offensive, a strike that crosses a new line, or a new country getting more directly involved. This raises the risk of miscalculation. Everyone says they don't want escalation, but history shows wars can spin fast. Now, where does the US election climate fit in? It matters a lot. American politics shapes aid, sanctions, and diplomacy. One leadership style says, double down and help Ukraine win. Another says, end it now, cut a deal. Ukraine is trying to secure commitments from both sides because for Kiev, survival can depend on one part's victory in Washington. But what about Russia? Moscow believes time favors it. Sanctions hurt, but the state has shifted to a war economy. The message from the Kremlin is simple: we can sit longer than you can. That's why pressure grows on Zelensky to accept terms, and why Zelensky keeps resisting. And Europe? What about Europe? Europe's fear is that if Ukraine is forced into a bad deal, deterrence dies. Countries near Russia would feel exposed. NATO would need to spend even more to secure its eastern flank. Europe wants peace, but not at any price. Let's pull the camera back even more. This war is not only about land, it's about rules. Can borders be changed by force in the 21st century? It's about energy. Who controls pipelines, ports, and sea lanes? It's about technology, drones, air defense, satellite intelligence. It's about politics. How long voters will accept high prices, big budgets for a war far away? Where does India stand? India's line has been consistent: dialogue, de escalation, and national interest. Keep oil affordable, keep the economy growing, keep diplomatic doors open with all sides. That's why you'll see India talking to the US, the EU, Russia, and Ukraine. Not to please anyone, but to protect stability and space for growth at home. What should we watch in the coming weeks? 8 votes in the US and Europe. If support slow, Ukraine's options narrow. Energy prices, a spike means pressure on every economy. Any sign of a real ceasefire plan? If mediators appear and both sides stop using maximalist language, that's your clue something is cooking. Battlefield changes. If either side takes a major town or cuts supply lines, negotiations can flip overnight. Before we close, one important point: you'll see loud claims on all sides. A deal is coming tomorrow. The war will end in a day. Total victory is near. In reality, peace is paperwork. Lines on maps, guarantees on paper, inspectors on ground, money for rebuilding, and a plan that both sides can sell to their people. That takes time and patience. So, did Trump really say Putin will destroy you? That's what several reports claim for the closed door conversation. It fits his direct style: push hard, force a decision, end the fight. Will Zelensky accept such a deal? So far, he says no. He's betting that with the right weapons and steady support, Ukraine can still turn the table. Which side is right? History will decide. For now, the safest prediction is this: things will get louder before they get quieter. There will be more sharp statements, more pressure, and more uncertainty on the battlefield and in global markets. That's why we are here to cut through the noise and tell you in plain language what actually matters and what to watch next. If this breakdown helped, you understood the big picture. Tap subscribe to World 247, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this with a friend who follows geopolitics. Your support helps us keep bringing you clear, nonsense updates from around the world. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next one.